You've got to shoot this bit, Margaret. You've got to shoot it.
So, hi and welcome to the first episode of the Whiteout podcast of 2023. I'm Dom, publisher at In the Snow, and I'm here with my co-host, presenter, gear editor, Beatty ski instructor, PR extraordinaire. This man's got his finger in so many pies, you'd think he was the Elon Musk of skiing. It's Rob Stewart.
Oh, Dom. I mean, I've had it in my mind. I was going to start this podcast today, and before you give me some kind of trumped-up introduction, like you've just done, and you've just been back from the Alps. French Alps skiing. So I've been sitting in a cold, damp Britain for the last 2 weeks. So I think actually you're the one. You're the one that I should say. Skier extraordinaire skiing right in the Alps. It doesn't even have any snow, so it must have been incredible.
Yeah, had a very good week over New Year there, just out in Teen and Val d'Isère, and we were very lucky to have some cracking conditions. So yeah, you're probably right there, Rob. But I always like to give you a bit of a whoomp as we come into the podcast. Well, happy New Year to you, and happy New Year to our listeners as well. We've got our usual roundup of snow news. Some might say there's no news, but not snow news. But we'll beg to differ, and we'll come on to that a little bit later. And of course, you've got a roundup of what's been happening in the news over the last couple of weeks. Since our last podcast, just prior to the Christmas break. Then we have our gear roundup. Our top trumps of resorts face off with the letter D this week, where I think we have Davos and les Deux Alpes. Yeah. I know it begins with a les in front of the D, but that just doesn't count. So, Rob, what else?
Yeah, we've got our news roundup, our gear roundup, and we've also got Didn't Know You Could Ski There as well, which this week, believe it or not, I'm going to talk about South Africa and how you can, actually real snow skiing in Southern Africa. So
that is very cool. Real snow skiing in South Africa. I didn't actually know that. So that's pretty impressive.
There you go.
So it's a great time to give a shout out to our two charity partners, Rob. Firstly, we're proud to support Snow Camp, the game-changing national youth charity who turn young lives around with the power of snow sports. They do amazing work by harnessing the power of skiing and snowboarding to develop life skills, qualifications, and positive opportunities for over 1,000 hard-to-reach young people year on year. Do go ahead and visit our charity partner today, snowcamp.org.uk.
Yeah, Dom. Absolutely fantastic charity, Snow Camp. But I'd also like to give a big shout out to the Ellie Suter Foundation, who have just announced another athlete, 12-year-old alpine skier Xavier Poynton, as a new grant-funded skier on their programme. This now means they're looking after 4 of the UK's top up-and-coming prospective Olympians, which is unreal for this fairly new charity. And go and check them out, the Ellie Suter Foundation.
Fantastic, Rob. Thanks very much. So, first off, what is happening with these tricky snow conditions? Let's face it, it's been a bit of a mixed bag over the Christmas and New Year period. But the fact is, there is plenty of skiing still to be had, and none of the major resorts have been shut down, despite many of the media reports out there. So, I know firsthand, I've been out in those couple of those big Titan resorts this week, and no shortage of snow, I have to say. Not even slushy, not even that icy or hard packed. I mean, it wasn't powder, but it was pretty good conditions. But mainly piste skiing, and skiing right down into the resort, and not skiing through puddles or slush at the bottom either. So I was very happy, and I think there was a hell of a lot of very happy skiers out there. So it's not all bad news. There has been that warmer weather and some rain that came in over the Christmas period that swept through in a sort of day and a half, 2-day period, which did have a big impact on snow, especially at the lower altitudes. But that is pretty much the bad news out the way. The good news is that snow is definitely on its way, because the forecast is saying snow is coming, and significant amounts of it as we go into next week. In France, in the Southern Alps, resorts of Serre Chevalier has done very well with 35 centimetres on the lower slopes and 170 on the upper. It's definitely fared better than many of the other ski areas. The Northern Alps resorts, including the Port du Soleil region, aren't faring so well, But Avoriaz has still got some excellent on-piste skiing, and they've had some fresh snow this week too. And in Switzerland, similar picture with lower slopes either closed or kept open with artificial snow. But again, with some new snow this week on the upper runs, conditions are good on piste at higher altitudes. Zermatt doesn't have the snow in the town, but they do have 47 lifts open, which is great. And in Italy, seen some better conditions as the weather stayed colder over the southern side of the Alps. Cervinia, 130 centimetres on the upper slopes. The Dolomites are holding up well with excellent snow cover. That includes artificial top-up. There's not so much snow forecast over there, but at least some, and that should top things up quite nicely. In Austria, again, it is about altitude there. So those higher slopes in the eastern resorts, such as St Anton, are in good shape. Lower resorts are relying on artificial snow, and the ski vault is still open, but it is all artificial there. But again, some snow forecast for next week, which is good news. Norway, on the other hand, is a different story with very cold temperatures around -20 and lots of snow with more to come. It will warm up a bit, and conditions are pretty much perfect in the resorts close to Lillehammer, including Huffell and Kvitvel. And then over in North America, Rob, let's just big up here. We're about to head out to North America. Well, you're heading out to North America this week, and I'm going next week. The cold spell that hit the headlines here continued to have an impact on the ski areas too, although temperatures have recovered to a more normal, just below freezing in most places level, although nights are still pretty cold. Vail is 130 centimetres on the upper slopes and 50 on the lower, and snow forecast ongoing. Similar conditions over in Whistler, Canada, but with significant snowfall coming in the next 7 days that will really produce some serious powder conditions. And closer to home, Scottish ski resorts are operating, but it has been a mixed picture there. Potentially conditions going through January could be very good as temperatures drop again and more snow is forecast. Let's see if that comes about. Right now, the main areas have runs open, and the east, being Cairngorm, Glenshee, is generally faring better than the west.
That's all, folks.
So it's not all bad news, Rob. It's not all bad news. There is
it isn't. It isn't all bad news, and that's a really nice roundup, Dom. I mean, there's been a lot of national newspaper coverage and media coverage in general, TV as well as radio this week, on the snow conditions or the lack of it. But it's been it hasn't been ideal in the Alps. It's frustrating for us though. We never hear about it when it's great for the national media, do we? So, it's only when it isn't. I mean, not.
You never hear the press turn around and say, it's rained for a week in Spain in August. It's terrible. It's rained all week. I went on holiday and I couldn't lie on the beach all week. You never get that, do you? It's just not a news story. But they love to latch on to the fact that if there's a little bit of dodgy snow, they love to latch on to it, and it's a shame.
I think though, the point I thought about is that when this happens, it kind of reminds us that it doesn't happen very often. I mean, the fact that it is a big news story in the media, it means that this really doesn't happen that often. And the ski resorts have dealt with it incredibly well. And I don't know anyone, and I've been searching social media all week, I don't know anybody that hasn't been able to ski, that's gone skiing from the UK in the last 2 weeks, that hasn't actually been able to ski in the mountains.
Absolutely.
And I've said on social media, oh yeah, we went skiing, but actually we had to spend the week walking around town. It's going to snow next week and everything will be all right again.
Right. So, Rob, I did have a great week in teen. I'm just going to say that one more time because I did have a great week in teen. I don't know whether you got that news. But what other news do we have in the ski industry since we last chatted? There must have been other things that went on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, Dom, as the season gets well underway. I found a few unusual snippets for this week. So the first one, I found that apparently there's a 36 million euro plan to redevelop a North African ski area. Fresh plans to redevelop this area called Oukaimeden, I think, in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco. And see the ski area converted into a year-round sustainable mountain resort with lift infrastructure upgraded and snowmaking installed. It's like an old ski resort, but they're going to really sort of upgrade it. Year-round attractions would include activities like paragliding, climbing, via ferrata, mountain karting, zip wire, and summer tubing on a dry slope, as well as skiing during the winter.
Nice.
So North Africa skiing, that's interesting because we're going to talk about South Africa later.
Right.
Yeah, a school bus with a dry ski slope. I love this little story. Jibworks have announced they're working to convert an American school bus, specially imported into the UK, into a mobile terrain park complete with a dry slope ramp. For Gibworks, the bus will be their fourth edition of a mobile setup in the last 8 years. The stairs and drop in will be attached. This is a quote from them, by the way. Okay. The stairs and drop in will be able to be attached to any point around the bus with our new clip-on, clip-off scaffold bar platform edge. This gives us some exciting flexibility when it comes to getting and squeezing into some unique event spaces.
Wow, nice.
So anyway, work on converting the school bus is underway, and the Gibworks team, occasionally ProSlope, will be attending festivals, events, and other expos around Europe in 2023. So I like that story. So bringing a ski slope to festivals, basically.
Love it.
Now, another unusual story. The French resort of Léger has become the first in Europe, well, they believe, to ban smoking on its ski slopes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The municipality in Léger says it's forbidden to smoke now on any ski slope since mid-December, actually.
Wow.
It's a fight against pollution as well, linked to cigarette butts that is thrown on the ground in the resort.
Yeah,
more than 3,000 cigarette butts were collected on the ski slopes last year during the annual Clean Mountain Day. And apparently in France, around 20 to 25,000 tons of cigarette butts end up polluting natural environments every year. Oh. So, some people might say, oh, you're stopping the smoking. But when you think of those numbers, but the resort also says, don't panic. Smokers, don't panic. They've got 5 smoking areas on the slopes. You can have a cigarette break in, and then they can naturally collect those cigarette butts and dispose of them properly.
Wow.
So, we've seen that happen in North America and Japan and New Zealand. Léger believes that that's the first in Europe. I think
nice.
I like it. So back closer to home, we've got some plans that have already been submitted, but they're going to resubmit them now. It's a £300 million leisure resort with a ski slope, water park, and hotels in Wales.
Wow.
And we've heard the story before, but I think they're really pushing this, and it would be fantastic if they could get this off the ground. It would include a ski slope, water park, and it's called the name. I mean, it's a Welsh name, Rhiadcar. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Rhiadcar West in Merthyr. So in the Welsh valleys, South Wales, and they're going to build 3 hotels, 30 woodland lodges. It's actually owned by Marvel Limited, and the plan is to make it one of the premier tourist destinations in the UK. If it does go ahead, then we'd see the UK's longest ski slope being built, which would be on real snow indoors. It's obviously a fantastic project. Like all of these things, we have heard the plans before, and until they start digging, we'll remain cautiously optimistic, I think.
We do keep hearing lots of plans, don't we? There's always a story about a plan to build this and a plan to build that, and I hope these things do happen.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that would be amazing, wouldn't it, to have a facility like that in South Wales, within reach of cities like Bristol, Cardiff. Yeah, I mean, it's only an hour or so away from where I am as well. So I mean, that would be brilliant. So that's it. That's my news roundup for this week, Dom.
Very good. Some cool things there. I like that.
What about gear, Dom? Have you got some gear for us this week?
I have got some gear for us, Rob. Very good. I have got some interesting stuff. So the first thing I've got, Messy Weekend goggles. Have you heard of Messy Weekend?
I don't think I have, actually.
Well, interesting company based in Copenhagen. Very interesting little video of the founder, and he's actually quite a nice little video of him saying, I bet you didn't realize that we have created goggles coming out of Copenhagen, and we're a strange country to be producing goggles. So it's quite cool, actually. But I got
That's a brilliant Russian accent, Dom.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't realize he was Russian, but there you go. And so they have created, they're an eyewear fashion brand, and technically strong as well. They're aiming at being fashion-led, affordable prices, good quality. I got my hands on a pair to try last week, and I have to say they were pretty nice. They came in a really nice hard case for traveling, which was actually a really nice little bonus, because at the moment all I do is stuff them into my helmet. So coming in a hard case was really nice. I got the Flip Black XEP model. Yeah, I'm sure you know that, Rob. And it came with 2 lenses, one of which was photochromatic, so changes according to the light, which is quite handy, actually, especially, at all times of the year, actually. Obviously, the sun comes out and they go nice and dark, and then it goes a bit more flat light and they go nice and light. So it's very handy, actually. But the other thing I noticed about it, very strong magnetic connection. Now, I don't normally like those magnetic connections. You know how you do the lens swap out? Because my daughter's got those, and every time she picks the goggles up and puts it on her helmet, the lens pops off. Whereas these, super strong. I mean, you know, literally, I was attracting people's watches as I skied past them, so it was quite quite cool. So these
that could get very messy.
Yeah, exactly. Really nice look and feel goggle. Really did like them. 175 quid. So I'm not sure they're hitting the mark in terms of a cheap goggle, but I suppose with that photochromatic lens as well, not bad. And getting 2 lenses there. Not quite sure I get my head around why I need 2 lenses if I've already got the photochromatic lens, but still nice.
Yeah, I get that though. I get that. I guess the other lens is lighter, right?
That super light, yeah. It was almost clear.
Yeah, which can be really, really good in flat light conditions, especially, you know, if your eyesight like mine isn't perfect and I have to wear glasses. But anyway, you know, that can be really helpful. Yeah.
So nice goggle. Then the other thing I saw, and I haven't actually got my hands on this, is the Oakley Mod 5 helmet. As is typical with Oakley, cracking helmet, beautiful premium quality. This model is built for the most demanding big country, backcountry skier with MIPS built in, adjustable ventilation, fidlock buckle, removable liner, brim ventilation. If you want to look cool, feel cool, real nice quality, big safe helmet, 250 quid, the Oakley Mod 5. Have you got one of those, Rob?
No, you know, I've never had an Oakley helmet, actually. And they do look really cool, don't they? Every time I see an Oakley helmet, I think, yeah, they look smart. And I'm sure the quality is very, very, very good as well.
I know I've said it on this podcast before, but I absolutely need a new helmet this week. Every time I take my helmet off, I get this red line across my forehead because my helmet is so old and so knackered. And I get a massive red stripe across the front of my forehead. But anyway, it gives my children something to laugh at.
Oakley, please send Dom a new helmet.
Yeah, exactly. Oakley, please. Finally, I don't wear one of these, but for those of you that do, it's the Forcefield Pro L2 Dynamic Back Protector. Easy for you to say. Forcefield, very much a motorbike-driven brand, but these are titans when it comes to back protection. And this model passes the CE2 test, meaning it's a very high protection level for your back. I've got to say, although I don't wear one, I don't wear it because of the fact that I looked at it and thought that can't be comfy. And when I put this on, it was surprisingly comfortable. This thing literally molded to my body. I was quite impressed with it. Far more comfortable than I thought it would be. It 3D custom molds to your shape. It can withstand multiple impacts, so it's not just a one impact thing. It has hundreds of breathable vents to keep your body temperature right. So that's quite nice as well, because I did think it could make you feel a bit sweaty. And it's all held together with Kevlar thread for maximum strength. So at 160 quid, I thought, actually, I have to say this ski break, when we all ski, the kids were skiing a lot faster than I've ever seen them ski before. And I was looking, thinking, you only need one. And let's face it, it is an accident. You know, you're not planning to have an accident. It just happens. And I thought a back protector for this, you know, seeing those kids flying around would be good. So that's my recommendation for this week. That's all for my gear. What about you, Rob? You're always an expert on this front.
Well, I've got hold of a few things recently. So I just got hold of a Dare to Be jacket, actually. So men's Mountaineer 2 wool jacket made from quilted wool and durable ripstop fabric. And it's kind of a mid-layer jacket. It's not an outer, but it's got like a water repellent finish. So I guess you could wear it in the springtime, but it is a nice, quite long wear mid-layer all around town kind of jacket. I mean, it's, you know, it's got 20% wool fill, 80% recycled polyester padding as well. So it's kind of breathable, very, very lightweight. And it's not a down jacket. So it's, you know, it's quite good in moist weather as well. No. The insulation is all made from recycled plastic bottles, you know, which is great. Not unusual for that, but it's, you know, it's worth pointing that out. Yeah. And it's just a good lightweight, all round mid-layer or round town après ski kind of jacket. It's £120 retail price, but I've seen it for less than that online as well. You can check it out on daretobe.com.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice jacket. I like wearing it. It's very, very light, but it's actually very, very warm as well. So cool. I've been really impressed with that. I've just got hold of a new backpack. It's the Osprey Camber 30 backpack. I'm very excited about.
Just what you needed, Rob. Another packback, wasn't
it? Yes. I actually can't get to my bed anymore. But anyway, but this one is special. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's a good sort of backcountry free ride backpack, lots of technical features, quick access Avi pocket, wet and dry gear storage in the main compartment. You've got your insulated hydration sleeve, a snow shed back panel, glove friendly buckles and zippables, all that kind of really, really sort of technical stuff you'd expect from Osprey. You've got ski carry and snowboard carry options as well. And it is comfortable. I've just worn it just around. I'm going to use it next week when I go to Big Sky, Montana, and ski with people like Dan Egan and maybe other famous people that I'm not going to name drop. And anyway, yeah, £180, so high end, but it's a proper backpack. This one, OspreyEurope.com. Check it out.
Nice.
The other thing I'm just about to get my hands on, and I haven't yet because it's been I've just shipped it straight over to. So I'm not.
Oh, go on, say it, Rob. Say it. Go on.
Big Sky, Montana. Is the Hendrix helmet from Bern. A new helmet from that. Bern, the brand. They specialize in helmets. I'm just going to read out their sort of fluffy marketing spiel on this one for now, because you know what the Americans are like. They're quite good at that. Mm-hmm. So it sort of sums it up. They say business in the front, party in the back, and a carbon fiber shell all the way around. The Hendrix is the epitome of Bern DNA. We could go on and on about its innovative spoiler design, re-engineered Burn brim and ribbed EPS liner, but we won't. I mean, they want to, obviously. It doesn't take a bunch of helmet nerds to tell you how rad this new lid is, so we'll spare you the details. All we can say is this: the Hendrix Carbon is just plain cool. That's what they say. So
only an American company could squeeze rad and lid into one sentence.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to point out that's not my writing. So you can get it from burnhelmets.com for a very cool US $350, which is just shy of £300.
Okay.
So for that amount, I'm thinking I better look bloody cool for that amount.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you better look rad and lid and cool and dope. Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, that's a nice little gear roundup. You can send that Burn helmet to me when you get back, because then I won't have to be begging something else. Yeah, for sure. You should try that out when you go to Big Sky, Montana, Rob.
I might just do that, actually. I think it might be on my bed in my hotel room when I arrive. Even cool better. Just imagine
the sort of hotel you want to arrive to. I love it.
Exactly.
So that's all for our gear.
It is. Now, Dom, it's that time of the week. We're going to compete against each other for a round of top trumps.
Top trumps.
Yeah.
Davos for you. Yeah. Deux Alps.
Dom, Deux Alps.
Deux Alps. Yeah.
Yeah. Deux Alps.
Yeah.
I mean, that sort, Deux Alps. Yeah, it's big and brash French behemoth of a resort, isn't it? Yeah, and I've got little old, maybe not so little, definitely old, Davos. So, Dom, why don't you take it away? Go on.
Les Deux Alpes. It's in the French department of Isère. That's not Val d'Isère. It's a totally different place. The resort is at 1,650 meters, so nice and high, and lifts run up to 3,600 meters, which is, face it, pretty epic. It's got the largest skiable glacier in Europe, and is France's second oldest ski resort, just behind Chamonix, which I didn't know until I researched this.
Yeah.
And did you know it has the longest on-piste vertical in the world? Obviously, that's when it's fully open. So that's quite cool. Grenoble's the closest airport, about 1.5 hours drive away from Grenoble. It's pretty interesting because the lower slopes down to the resort are the sort of steeper, more challenging than the higher ones, which means that beginners get up and get to see all the views. So that's quite unusual and very nice. There are easier ways to get down to. There's a fantastic snow park, one of the largest in Europe, with a half pipe, multiple kickers, 2 border cross courses. So stacks of rails there. So yeah, if you're into jibbing and jiving, then snow park, and this is the place for you. It's also possible to get to Le Grave, best with a mountain guide, but it's obviously a free riders haven there and one of the most interesting off-piste resorts in the world. The town is known as quite a party place too. This is Les Deux Alpes still. Après scene's absolutely superb. So Rob, you'll often see me hanging out there dancing on some tables. Match that. Les Deux Alpes seems to have it all and a great snow record and a glacier to boot.
Yeah, Dom. I mean, no doubt Les Deux Alpes is one of the classic French resorts, isn't it? And you know what? I haven't actually been there, which is a real shame. But anyway, my D for today is Davos. That Swiss ski resort, not only famous for skiing, but also for its annual World Economic Forum that brings governments and other very important people that probably can't ski very well together. The lucky participants can get the chance to get on the slopes, though, because it starts very soon on January the 16th. And actually looking at snow conditions yesterday in Davos, they're pretty good. I have a friend over there at the moment, and she posted on social media. Good conditions there.
Nice.
Davos is best avoided, though, as a holiday destination when the forum is running for obvious reasons. But around that, it's definitely worth a butcher's, I'd say.
Yeah.
Linked with Klosters, the skiing area is one of the largest in Switzerland and great for all levels, with tons of off-piste opportunities too. The town is clearly very smart and has a modern feel. I wouldn't say it's chocolate boxy, but there's, lots of hotels, shops and restaurants. It's not a budget destination, that's for sure. It is more than a ski resort, though. It's a large working town that also happens to have an amazing ski area attached. Lots of history to the place. The population has been growing there since the Middle Ages. And now there's, tons of hotels, including a lot of five-star properties. There's even a hard rock hotel there too. That eastern side of Switzerland does tend to get good snow. I won't mention the size of the ski area as yet. We'll get onto that, but it's very large, which I think might surprise some people. It's the kind of ski area that generally suits every level, from beginner to free rider and park skier or snowboarder. Of course, nearby and linked Klosters is famous for its royal connections. It's a regular for King Charles, and our industry friend James Palmer Tompkinson. He runs a ski school there as well. So if you want, a full-on Swiss high-end experience to a resort that feels sort of ultra-exclusive, but has a generally amazing ski area that's a bit off the map for a lot of British skiers, and I would say Davos is definitely one of those places to tick off the list. Pretty easy to get to from Zurich Airport as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So
two very different places.
Two very, very different places, I'd say. Yeah. Very, very different. But now we're going to get down to the numbers, right, Dom? And the science. So
all about the numbers.
I'll kick that off. I mean, Davos is one of the highest villages in Europe at 1,560 meters, considering how large a town it is.
I'm at 1650. 1650. Just picture at the post there. Just picture at the post with 90 meters extra.
Right. What's your highest point then?
Highest point, 3,600.
Ooh, that's so high.
So cool.
Wow. I mean, a respectable 2,844 meters for me.
That's all right, isn't it?
There you go. But what about kilometers apiece?
So I am looking at 200 kilometers apiece in Les Deux Alpes.
Showing off there.
Yeah, nice.
But actually, the linked area of Davos Klosters is surprisingly large.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I've looked at lots of data on this, and I'm going to go for 250 kilometers of runs. Some of the data I've seen suggests more than that, but I'm just saying, I'm being careful and cautious on 250.
And you are linking up with another resort. Excuse me. Numbers of lifts, Rob. I've got 48.
Yeah, and I've got 50, give or take.
All right.
It's a link ski area. Yeah.
I'll let you have it. So we're pretty close. I reckon I've pictured at the post here. I think statistically, I kind of picture at the post, and I think
I think I might start to get some emails from the Davos tourist office here. Just want to put a caveat in here that I think Davos is an amazing ski resort. Well,
there's a bit of personal opinion there. There are some people that would hate going to Les Deux Alpes for the sort of more party-ish and varied accommodation choice, and there'll be some people that would love going to Davos for the hoi polloi and the beauty and the expensive hotels. So they are poles apart, but we are talking about appealing to the masses here. So there we go. Good fun, eh? Les Deux Alpes.
Good fun. Well done, Les Deux Alpes. Clear winner this week. I need to go to both of those places because it's been a long time since I was in Davos, so I need to go to both of those places and Just saying, just dropping that in there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
anyway, moving on.
Last but not least, Rob, I didn't know you could ski there, and I definitely didn't know you could ski there. This time I really didn't know you could ski there. South Africa. Let's do this.
So it is possible to ski in South Africa during their winter months, obviously, which is basically between June and August. There's a few places you can find snow and commercial skiing. The areas are very small, and for South Africa, it's really a novelty factor for people that live there of being able to go into the mountains and to ski more. More than anything else, it's just to go there and experience it. Many moons ago, I spent some time there working for a ski tour operator in Johannesburg, and it's quite a big drive to get to the mountains, about 9 hours, but it can be done for a weekend. And one of my former colleagues from those days, a New Zealander called Lou Campbell, he now owns Tiffindale ski area. It's about a night, it's quite away from Joburg, about 9 hours, right on the southern edge of Lesotho, which is actually a separate country within South Africa, a landlocked country. There's lodging on site. There's lots of choice. Beginner's slope and a main run with 2 drag lifts and a total of 1.3 kilometers of piste. They do have artificial snowmaking as well if the natural stuff doesn't arrive, and it's normally open for skiing between June and August. I mean, it's obviously quite basic skiing, and it's a very short run, but they do hold an international FIS slalom race there most years, and it's the only place on the African continent to do so, or to have ever done so, I believe. I actually have some friends that worked there as well, doing ski seasons and teaching skiing. So it's a good fun place to hang out. I wouldn't recommend going to South Africa just to go skiing, but certainly if you're there in the winter, it's a good excursion. There's lots of accommodation packages that they do. Like for 3 nights in a chalet, typically it costs from around £250 per person, and that includes your food and lift pass and ski equipment. So it's great value for money once you're there. And you can check Tiffindale out on Tiffindale, which is tiffindell.co.za.
Nice.
Really cool place. Over the border in Lesotho itself, there is another ski area called Afriski. It's a bit larger, and they've got a 1 kilometer long T-bar lift plus a few other lifts as well. Again, accommodation is available on site. There's apartments there and chalets. It's quite modern. They've invested a lot there in the last few years. And I met the owner a few years back at a conference in Andorra. I haven't been to this place, but it does look interesting, and they've got some big plans. Same season as Tiffindale, obviously. It's not that far away from there. So you can check that out on afriski.net as well. So what do you think, Dom?
I like the sound of it. I think it sounds very cool. I actually didn't know you could ski in South Africa, and I like the sound of it. And being in July and August, perfect timing for us, because obviously we wouldn't be as busy at that time of the year. So getting out there and skiing then would be fantastic.
Wouldn't be a bad little trip, would it?
Yeah, plenty of other things.
It's actually a good time of year to go there to do the Kruger National Park or one of those parks.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's in the winter, you actually see more in the winter than in the summer.
Yeah.
So if you were up for a safari and then to combine that with some mountain activity as well and get up into the Drakensberg Mountains or Lesotho or down to Tiffindale, it's all around that sort of Drakensberg area.
Imagine doing those 2 things in one holiday. That'd be amazing.
It would.
I love it. So that's all for this week, and we're back into the swing of things, Rob. 2023 started with a bing, started with a bang, and you're off skiing next week. Go on, tell us one more time. You are off to Big Sky.
Big Sky, Montana.
It just sounds so cool. How long are you there for?
About 5 days in total. Okay. Dan Egan, famed for Roran Miller ski films, runs steep skiing camps there in Big Sky, and he's going to drag us down some triple black diamonds, apparently.
Rob, don't go crazy.
No, I won't. I won't go crazy. I don't go crazy these days.
And then when you get back, I'm heading off to Banff. I have a very packed schedule, right from skiing Banff, Lake Louise, Mount Norquay, and then going to Golden. I'm going Skidoo, also doing a Skidoo safari, also doing dog searching safari. Yeah, I've got it all going on. I'm going to be battered. I mean, yeah.
Are you going to go to Kicking Horse when you're in Golden as well?
Well, I am thinking that may well possibly be the case. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah,
you should try Kicking Horse because it's an incredible bit of terrain up there.
Is it?
And yeah, huge runs like with no one on them. It's just
really
incredible. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that might be on the cards. Very good.
Yep.
So
Thanks, Dom.
you have a great
Enjoy
trip, and hopefully I'll speak to you before Banff, and we will have our podcast out next week. And have a great trip. And listeners, do keep us up to date with anything you want to hear about, any gear that you've come across that you really like to hear about, and stay in touch with us. Rob, have a safe trip.
You too, Dom.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. All
Cheers.
right. Have a good one.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Mais non, talkie-walkie.
I'm pretty sure it's called a walkie-talkie, mate.